Collin Murray-Boyles had his best game yet, and the Toronto Raptors are going to the Summer League Semifinals, baby.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It's your favorite part of the day. Thanks for making Locked On Raptors your first listen every day. I'm Vivek Jacob. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors for 8 seasons across several outlets. You can follow Locked On Raptors on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. And be sure to check out the Locked On Raptors Discord, where you can talk all things basketball, but especially the Raptors. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. It is Friday, July the 18th, and I'm going solo to recap the Raptors' 81-69 win over the Golden State Warriors. Yes, it was as ugly as the scoreline suggests. Quick recap. To start off, Jonathan Mobo did not play with a sprained right hand, and initially we did see maybe a little bit of a toll on the defense, but offense was the problem for the Raptors for most of the game, but especially in the first half. Not a fun first quarter at all. The Raptors scored just 13 points. They didn't score in the final 4 minutes of the first quarter and the first 2 minutes of the second quarter. So a 6-minute scoreless stretch. We've seen that movie before, right? Really stagnant offense, just not able to get anything going. And then even when they were creating turnovers, not able to score off those turnovers, and then not able to hit from the outside. They were 1 for 13 from 3 to start, and the Warriors led 28-15 at one point. Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, AJ Lawson even could not get it going in this first half. When I look back, Jacoby, Jamal, AJ, they combined for 1 for 16 shooting in the first half. So who kept them going? It was the rookies. It was CMB. We're going to get to more of him just in a bit. But Collin Murray-Boyles and Elijah Martin, they kept the Raptors alive on the offensive end in the first half. They poured in 19 points on 7 of 11 shooting. The rest of the team was 4 of 28 combined. As I mentioned, 1 for 16 between Jacoby, Jamal, and AJ. Somehow, the Raptors only trailed 37-36 at the half. The somehow is the defense. When you're scoring just 36 points and you're able to keep the opponent to 37, that's how you're able to stay in these games. And again, the ball pressure creating a lot of problems, and the physicality, that's something that you have to feel encouraged by with a young group here, where even though the offense isn't clicking the way they'd like, the defense does not drop off. And sometimes you see with certain players, it's like, oh, the offense isn't going. You hang your head defensively. You're not giving as much effort. No, this team defends. And so second half, I thought it was interesting to see Colin Castleton did get benched in favor of Ulrich Shomshe to start the second half. The defense goes to another level, but now they're finishing on the break. They're taking advantage of those turnovers. They outscore the Warriors 26-16 in the third quarter, kind of take control there and then don't let it slip. Outscore the Warriors 19-16 in the fourth quarter. So just allow the 32 points in the second half. In fact, if you go take the second quarter as well, where the Warriors only scored 14 points, we're talking about allowing just 46 points in 3 quarters. That's how you finish with 69 points. So credit to the Raptors getting it done with the defense again on a night where you're only able to get 81 points. Your defense comes through like that. But hey, story of this game, Collin Murray-Boyles. Best player on the floor pretty much from start to finish. He ends the game with 20 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 assists, shot 8 for 13 from the field. Honestly, it could have been more assists. He had some really good passes in this one. And then whether it was teammates fumbling the ball or not finishing their opportunities, he definitely, could have. I don't know if he could have flirted with a triple double, but it should have been a 5+ assist game for him. I think what was interesting for the Raptors in terms of how they used CMB in this game was they definitely made it a priority to get him in screening actions and then have him mostly on the roll. We did see one above the break 3, and that again is encouraging to see. But it's the work that he did on the catch, on the run, going downhill, attacking the basket that was really, really impressive in this one. And to kind of take charge when the Raptors senior guys were struggling a bit, that was really, really cool to see. And all of it is with poise. And let's talk about the defense. Like, his defense is immaculate. Like, this is not a rookie defending. He's getting deflection after deflection. His defensive positioning is like a vet, and that's what opens the door for all these opportunities he creates. He's creating extra possession after extra possession, whether it's creating turnovers, whether it's grabbing offensive rebounds, and that's what the Raptors are trying to do, right? Like, they want to prioritize winning the possession battle, and that's where they feel that they'll win out. If there's a sequence that puts it all together, late third quarter is when the score was 51-48, Warriors leading. And AJ Lawson has a nice drive and kind of scoop pass to CMB for the layup. Raptors apply full court press. CMB is right up on Marcus Bolden, and he's able to force a bad pass. And then AJ Lawson is able to get his hand on it, tap it right back to CMB, who then takes the ball and jams it. And then the Raptors are able to get another stop. This time, Jamal Shed comes down the floor, runs pick and roll with CMB. Shed goes to the rack, misses a lefty layup, but CMB gets the rebound and the putback. And that triggered what was, in the end, a 12-0 run for the Raptors. So they go from trailing 51-48 to taking control and going up 60-48. And again, CMB, his activity level, he spoke on the broadcast between the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and he was getting asked about, the defense. And he's like, yeah, that's literally everything for this team. And he knows that this team is going to get its offense off its defense. And I go back to just the way he positions himself, because it's not common to see that for a rookie. It's very much like watching a veteran defend. And you think about the Raptors' best defensive teams, especially the players on the back line who are just always aware of what's happening. Obviously, I'm not there, so I don't know whether he's calling plays out or whether he's how much he's communicating to his teammates. But he is always in the right place. When drives are coming in, he's switching over to help. Then he's able to scamper back out to the perimeter to contest. And these are all good contests. And there's even little things where, on a fast break, if there's an easy bucket and he's going for the contest first, but he's not giving up an easy bucket. It's like, hey, you're going to go earn this at the free throw line. And there's just a toughness about him, and an intensity, and this sort of calming intensity, right? It's like he's very focused, he's very zoned in, but there's also that poise about it. And once you have the right positioning with his physical attributes, and then the way he's able to anticipate, use his wingspan, cause problems for the opponent's offense, That's where everything opens up for the Raptors to get out on the break, and just an amazing game for him, and sets things up. And you have to like the way he has progressed, right? Game to game. Obviously, misses the first one with the adductor strain. Then he comes in, looks like he's trying to do a bit too much, or is just really antsy to get going. Learns from it next game, lets the game come to him, has a nice flow about it. Doesn't get much in the way of offense, but he's just playing within the system, within his role. And then this was like a coming out party as far as summer leagues go, right? And putting up almost a double-double, carrying the Raptors offense when they needed it. Super encouraging from that front. And coming up next, we are going to talk a little bit about Elijah Martin, who was an important factor in keeping the Raptors afloat. And then we'll talk about, what went into the struggles of Shed and Walter and AJ Lawson. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress or ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Worried about what happens if plans change? The Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So, Elijah Martin, let us talk about the way he had a good bounce back, an important bounce back. He only got 8 minutes against the Nuggets, gets 21 minutes in this game, 13 points, 7 rebounds. And I think, we know he's going to come in very intense, ready to be physical on the defensive end. Looking back on the last game, I'm not sure exactly what it was that James Wade didn't want to give him more than the 8 minutes, but it was good to see that, it didn't phase Martin in any way. And if anything, it probably lit a fire under him. And he comes out in this one playing aggressive defense. And then offensively, I think what may have really been good for the Raptors offense is the fact that he was looking to create something out of nothing, right? He was always looking to cut. He was always looking to open space for his teammates. Even a couple of times where he brought the ball up the floor. So I think that's something that he was just more assertive about if there's a change there. He took the 3-point shot when it was there. He didn't make any. He took 2 threes in this one. But there was that sort of willingness to get things done, that desire to get things done. If there's one thing we got to talk about, he had this amazing give and go with Orishomche, and basically the Warriors were applying a ton of ball pressure, and Martin was on the right side. He's about like 5 feet behind the 3-point line on the right side. Shomche's like straight on at the 3-point line, ready to set a screen or whatever, and Martin lobs it up to him. Because of the ball pressure, Shomche has to shift. And so now, standing at the 3-point line, he's come out like almost 5 feet beyond the 3-point line, but straight on still to make the catch. And as soon as Martin throws that pass, he cuts past his man towards the basket. Shomche spots the cut, and we're talking about 5 feet behind the 3-point line now. Nails a perfect bounce pass near the free throw line where Martin catches in stride, is able to go gather straight into a layup, lefty lay-in, tough shot, makes it plus the foul. So that was really, really good to see from both guys, Shomche and Elijah Martin. And I think at the end of the day with Martin, he's a hustle man. He's sharp. He's always looking for little openings, opportunities, and I think getting on the glass, finding other ways to have an impact is probably something that the Raptors will want to see from him. It doesn't offer too much in the way of playmaking just yet. So I think when the scoring isn't there, if he's able to rebound in addition to playing great defense, then that's something that can bump him up a notch. So let's get into Shed and Walter and Lawson. So Walter and Shed finished the game shooting a combined 2 for 20, and they went 1 for 14 from 3. And I think that kind of tells the story in itself. Like the one make was Jacoby just kind of flipping one up at the shot clock buzzer just to beat the shot clock, and that just happened to go in. That was literally his only make of the game. He goes 1 for 11. And so for me, the story is the fact that they combined for 20 shots and then 14 of them are from 3. Like, when you're struggling like that, you got to get more going to the basket. And yes, the Warriors were playing good defense. I give them credit for that. Even with AJ Lawson limiting him, we've seen Lawson consistently get to the free throw line in these games. But in this one, he only got the 2 free throw attempts. So you could see the Warriors were doing a good job of defending and not fouling, just taking away drives for the most part. But I think this is kind of where we see the weaknesses of these players. And so with Shed, he was willing to shoot the 3. I think he got a little bit unlucky. He had a couple that went in and out. And there seemed to be a good rhythm to the shot. They just didn't fall for him. But I will say we didn't see any of, I talked before about that floater getting into the paint if they're dropping. And we didn't see any of that. There were drives where he tried to get all the way to the bucket, but there wasn't really that in between in this one. So that's something that I feel was missing. Jacoby, I thought, was just a bit too jump shot happy. And I would have liked to see a bit more in terms of just trying to create easier looks for himself. I think he's a pretty decent mid-range shooter, but we didn't really see much of that. And then from an encouraging standpoint, the positive is that it didn't, going back to my earlier point, it didn't impact their defense. Like Jacoby was still bringing it defensively. Jamal Shed was still bringing it defensively. The intensity was there. Lawson was still applying ball pressure and doing all he could. So I think that's the positives you take from this performance. And, as leaders of this Summer League crew, that's what you want to see. It's like, okay, my shot's not falling. Things aren't working out offensively. I'm still going to bring it defensively. I'm still going to give all the effort I can. So you can't question the effort in any sense. Positive for Lawson as well. He did have 5 assists, and I thought he had some nice dimes. There was one I mentioned earlier, that kind of drive and scoop pass to Collin Murray-Boyles. There was another one where the Raptors push out kind of semi-transition, and then Lawson kind of looks like he's backing out of a drive in transition and he's retreating to the 3-point line, but then Jamison Battle is cutting straight through the middle. And so Lawson kind of fakes like he's going for the 3 and then is able to find Battle in stride for the layup. So that was a nice play. Speaking of Jamison Battle, I do want to say that even though he was only 1 for 5 from 3, I thought he had a good game in terms of process. I liked his activity level on the defensive end. I liked his movement off ball on the offensive end. He finishes with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. I thought he made a lot of good decisions in this one. He was 3 for 3 on his 2s. So he was finding those opportunities to get to the basket. And so no issues there. Quickly, I'll touch on Shomshe as well. I think the really good thing is that we saw more of what we saw in the previous games. And so just that consistency is probably the biggest thing with Shomshe, the fact that we can look at it and say, okay, this is kind of more of the same that we're seeing from him. And then he gets the start in the second half for Castleton, and he's just continuing to have a great impact, right? Like CMB, best player on the court, finishes a plus 21 for the game. Shomshe finishes a plus 19, so not far behind. Second highest plus minus for the Raptors. And so the Raptors are consistently seeing him have an impact on winning. And even if, the box score is not showing big things, I think he's continuing to make the right impact and make the right plays. And it's just a lot to be encouraged by in terms of what we've seen so far in Summer League. To wrap up, next we are going to look ahead to championship weekend and what the Raptors are looking at on Saturday and potentially on Sunday. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or a service provider. If the first person didn't answer, did you wait? Probably not. You moved on. That's why you need OpenPhone. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or computer. They have an AI agent that handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads so you never miss a customer. OpenPhone is offering our listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonnba. That's openphone.com/lockedonnba. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Ready to wrap things up? Let's look ahead to the semifinals. The Raptors will play the Sacramento Kings at 4 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be either the Charlotte Hornets or the Oklahoma City Thunder in the final. The final would be at 10 p.m. EST on Sunday. So potentially looking at a back-to-back situation to get this championship. But hey, you got to win the semifinals on Saturday first. I do think the Kings are going to present a tough challenge for the Raptors, mainly because, hey, the Raptors have been riding their defense, and the Kings have been scoring very, very efficiently so far. Just to give you some numbers, the Kings so far have shot 50% from the field to the Raptors 42.8%. The Kings have shot 38.8% from three as a team so far. The Raptors are at 33%. If you're looking for where the Raptors are going to decide this game, it's the way they've been doing it with the turnovers. And so the Kings so far have averaged 23 assists to 16 turnovers. The Raptors in 4 games have forced 114 turnovers, and teams have only had 53 assists. So if that trend continues against the Kings, I'd say that's a very, very impressive job. Like, this is going to be a real test in terms of who's starring for the Kings. It's 2 rookies and 2 sophomores getting it done. Nick Clifford is at the top of the list, playing really well. 18.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals. He's shooting 58% from the floor, including 50% on his threes. Obviously, these are small sample sizes, but he's someone that I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Raptors take on this challenge. Jamal Shead, Jacoby Walter, looking at you. This is going to be a tough task, and if you can limit Clifford, that's going to be a very, very impressive showing. Maxime Renaud is another guy, another rookie who's playing well. He's averaging 14 points, 5 boards, and a block. He's shooting 53% from the field. So those 2 rookies have been key for the Kings, playing well. It's going to be a good opportunity for the Raptors to really show what their defense can do against an offense that is clicking. And then the second-year guys, Devin Carter is averaging 16 points a game. Isaac Jones is averaging 12.5 and shooting 61% from the field. Devin Carter has made 41% of his threes. So they've got multiple guys getting it done. And, I think so far when we've looked at the rosters that the Raptors have gone up against, talent-wise, you would say this Summer League roster that the Kings have can go toe-to-toe with the Raptors. And we'll see if maybe it's the Raptors' depth that wins out. But, the fact that they have 4 guys getting it done and getting it done efficiently on the offensive end, this might be your classic like offense versus defense matchup. And we'll see if the Raptors can get enough offense. Hopefully, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, AJ Lawson had that one stinker out of the way, and they are ready for championship weekend. The team has stated that they really want to win this championship. And now you've got, I think, a little bit of pressure with a semifinal. And so it'll be interesting to see how the guys respond to that. It'll be a good test. And I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, if you go up against the Thunder or the Hornets in the final, then, again, you'll have another opportunity in the Hornets, who have had things clicking for them offensively. And I believe it's KJ Simmons and Liam McNeely who have been getting it done for them as their leading scorers. And then the Thunder, they've actually been very similar to what they do at the serious NBA level, where they haven't really shot the ball well from three, but they're playing defense. AJ Mitchell is playing really well for them, and they're kind of fueling their offense with their defense. So that would be the Raptors getting a taste of their own medicine if they went up against that, and they'd see how that goes. But again, it's going to come down to this matchup against the Kings, 4 p.m. Saturday. And if you look at the Raptors in this game, if they are able to get enough from Jacoby, get enough from Jamal, get enough from AJ, where the offense can hang, and hey, let's put some respect on Collin Murray-Boyles' name with the way that he's playing. Let's see how much that CMB gets used again in that screener role, right? Really, really effective in this game against the Warriors. Let's see how that goes against the Kings. And hopefully, that Raptors quartet can outdo the quartet that's been doing big things for the Kings. I think that just about wraps it up for this one and the weekend pretty much. So hopefully on Monday, when I see y'all next, we're talking about a championship. I will say a CMB spoke after the game, and he had a great quote where he was asked if he's taken a look at the Summer League championship rings, because they do look pretty good. And he was just like, hey, my focus is on winning the next game. My focus is on just winning games. If we get to a championship ring, I'll worry about that when it comes. But right now, the focus is just on winning games. If you'd like to continue this discussion, head on over to the Locked On Raptors Discord. Link is in the description. Thank you for making Locked On Raptors your first listen today. For your second listen, find the Locked On NBA podcast, where there is no offseason. Doug, Matt, and Hayes keep you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to be the most informed NBA fan. Find Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.